Good morning, everyone, on this very cold day here in the city of Niagara Falls. It's the end of another week, and we are approaching the weekend, and I want to come and talk to you about a few different things that are going on in the city, as well as some things that you might be able to anticipate for the coming week. First, snow removal. City crews have been working pursuant to their plan at Public Works to begin not just necessarily cleaning out snow, but also cutting back the frozen snow to widen streets. They have worked diligently on the main roads, Pine Avenue, Main Street, some of the other main thoroughfares. They then will put their attention to the secondary arteries and then start moving into neighborhoods to widen the area. In order for them to do that, they're going to need resident cooperation. All city services rely to some extent on all of us cooperating with city services. In this instance, this snow event was such that the volume was greater than the individuals working in Public Works, who can only work for so many hours before they're exhausted, and the equipment, which is in some instances almost 2 decades old and breaks down often, could handle. So to answer the second piece, by the way, it's one of the reasons why some of the American Rescue Plan money will be used to update the fleet. Because having vehicles in there that are anywhere between 12 and 17 years old aren't going to react well in the kind of event that Winter Storm Izzy brought to the city of Niagara Falls. But you'll see that right now it's taking payloaders and trucking out snow in order to be able to widen roads because of the freezing conditions. So your cooperation in helping to make sure that until the Department of Public Works is able to get to your neighborhood, your cooperation in making sure that you're keeping parked cars from being parallel with each other and narrowing the paths is greatly appreciated. I recognize that that may mean that you're not parking directly in front of your house, but you're doing that for a couple of reasons. One, you want to be able to allow emergency vehicles to continue to pass through your road. And second, you have other members of your neighborhood that are looking to get to where they have to go. This is really going to take a cooperative effort by all of us to try and get through the next few days of moving the snow out of everyone's way. And that's the other piece that I guess I need to make sure that everyone's aware of. The snow removal hasn't stopped just because the snow isn't falling. Snow removal continues. It continues along the lines that I've just described for you, but your cooperation in helping us achieve mobility while we are going through the 17 square miles of the city and trying to attack them all, not only is appreciated for Public Works when they get to your neighborhood, but is also appreciated by residents and businesses as well. For our business districts, I want to remind businesses along those business areas that you should be doing your best to clean an area for your patrons to come to you. The cleaning of those sidewalks remain the responsibility of either of the property owner or business that fronts those sidewalks. So please make sure that you're doing your best to clean those sidewalks. We've been sending city crews out to areas where the city has responsibility, whether it's the public library, some of the overpasses, and so we continue to do that as well. I know that we're all struggling to get ahead of the accumulated snow, but we have to keep on working at that in order to be able to make sure that we can ask pedestrians who have no other option and walk in the street to get them back onto the sidewalk for the safety of motorists and especially for the safety of pedestrians. So again, your help and cooperation in doing that's greatly appreciated. Next month is the beginning of Black History Month. There will be, I'm sure, a variety of celebrations of that throughout the city, so please pay attention to the various social pages for an event that you may wish to join in to celebrate that month. We continue to develop our plans and present our plans for the delivery of additional improvements pursuant to the American Rescue Plan. This past week, we had a very interesting conversation with representatives from the New York State Power Authority on improvements to our lighting as well as in improvements to our smart city technology program that we hope to deliver as a part of the lighting improvement project. I think that once city government has analyzed those elements of the smart city technology that best suit our needs here, it'll be a very exciting opportunity for residents to see how our city is going to step up and start using technology to better provide information as well as to assist in the delivery of service. Again, just to kind of a difficult weekend last weekend with the defeat of the Bills in a very exciting game with the Kansas City Chiefs. It was also a very, I guess it was sort of an appreciative act on the part of Chiefs fans to make the donations that they made to Josh Allen's charity. So it's that kind of spirit that we need to embrace here in our city. We need to make sure that we're helping out one another, working hard to make sure that if there's a neighbor in your neighborhood who needs some help in snow clearing, help him or her out. I know myself, whether it was assisting residents in moving their cars, helping them push out cars that had gotten stuck as a result of being out in the middle of traffic after the traffic ban was imposed, or simply helping residents in the neighborhood clear their sidewalk. We all have a role to play. Again, I want to thank our neighboring communities, Lewiston and town of Lewiston and town of Niagara, for sending crews in to help clear snow during the real serious portion of our snow clearing efforts. Again, help from the Water Board and their employees, as well as assistance provided to us from the County of Niagara and the State Department of Transportation. All of that highlights the idea that, as I've said all along, as a community, we're stronger together. It's always easy to be very, very critical, and I suspect that in some instances, critique is always appropriate. But I think the other piece of critique is coming up with answers and being prepared to participate in solving some of the difficulties. So many of the things that we critique are as obvious to the person leveling the critical analysis as they are to those who are trying to accomplish whatever task there is. And so a part of the critique, I would ask, is also to be a part of the solution. So if you're able, in your neighborhoods, do your best to help those around you who might need a little extra help in clearing out some snow, making sidewalks and pedestrian passes more accessible to the businesses. Again, I invite you to do the same. It helps your business, and it helps our community. Again, it's going to be a cold one, at least for the next couple of days. So be very, very mindful of that as you're going out and around. Exposure to the cold happens quickly. It'll affect your skin. It'll affect your health. So please be mindful of that and watch for the signs of cold exposure. Again, the numbers regarding the virus continue to show positive improvement, that we're getting ahead of positive cases. But a lot of that will still continue to be impacted by how many people get the vaccine. So I'm going to again invite everyone, if you have family members or friends who've not been vaccinated, urge them to do that again. Make sure that you yourself have your vaccine updated, boosters where able. And in this way, we can start and I know some days when you look out the window, it's hard to think of this, but as we get towards spring, we can move out into the warmer weather, get back to some of the normal things that we're used to doing without the fear of having to have a revisit of this terrible restriction on our freedom to move. So again, as I do each week, I ask you to please be mindful of the public health requirements. Take care of yourself during the cold, and I look forward to talking to you again next week.